This video is about the railway between Christow and Exeter and the stations marked in green on this map. The railway had arrived at Teign House sidings just south of the site of Christow Station in 1882. For 20 years there was only a goods line here until the passenger station we can see today opened in July 1903. Preserved engines and rolling stock occupy the siding north of Christow Station, once used to load wagons with rock from the many nearby quarries. The first of 25 bridges on the line is here at Lee Cross. In the 1880s there was a plan to build a branch line along the Teign Valley to Chagford from here, but a lack of freight traffic meant it was never constructed. We're 7 miles and 35 chains from the junction with the Great Western Main Line in Exeter. The first station was Dunsford Halt. It was 2 miles from the village up this country lane. The site of the pedestrian gateway remains in the hedge, but there's no evidence of the station itself. It stood around here and opened in January 1928. It had a single timber platform and a corrugated iron shelter. Construction work on the line started late in 1894, but it was almost 9 years before trains ran. 2 tunnels had to be built. This is the 248-yard-long Culver Tunnel. The link between Christow and Exeter would cut several miles off the journey between the Teign Valley quarries and their markets, as demand for roadstone grew nationally. From the opening in 1903, 6 passenger trains operated daily in each direction through here. That was increased to 7 in 1924 and reduced during the Second World War. Increasing car ownership and lorry freight movements saw post-war services return to 5 trains on weekdays only. Around the bend is the next station at Longdown, at the top of a 1 in 64 gradient. Again, it's around 2 miles from the village with the same name. The station here was downgraded to a halt in October 1923. There was a 5-lever signal box here to control a passing loop that was installed in 1943. It was to allow trains to cross when the main line from Newton Abbot to Exeter was blocked. There was also a goods yard supplying a nearby estate. Beyond the station is the entrance to the partially collapsed Peridge tunnel, 836 yards long and the start of a falling gradient towards Exeter. The next station was at Ide, and that's been demolished, and this housing estate has been built in its place. The line through here was built by the Exeter Railway Company, becoming part of the Great Western in 1923 and British Railways in 1948. By the late 1950s, BR counted an average of 193 daily journeys along the Teign Valley route and worked out that closure would give them a saving of £45,000 a year. Here we see the remains of the bridge over the High Street at Ide. Some embankments still exist between here and the next halt at Alphington. The station name remains, but houses have been built on the site of the wooden platform and corrugated iron shelter put up in 1928. The remains of the bridge over Church Road. Beyond here the line disappears under a supermarket car park before emerging here at Marsh Barton Road, where the tracks are still in place. Passenger services ceased on the 7th of June 1958 and the line was closed entirely in 1961 with the rails lifted a year later. We're 28 chains now from here to where the Teign Valley line joins the Great Western Main Line at City Basin Junction. That junction is in the distance in this shot. Teign Valley trains stopped here at St Thomas Station on their way into St David's. The station is now a shadow of its former self. Its Brunellian train shed roof was demolished in the 1970s. The imposing station buildings have now found new uses, where it's unlikely that the Team Valley Railway ever will. When the Dawlish Main Line was breached in 2014, there were discussions about alternative routes, and the Team Valley Line was considered. It was ruled out because it would cost more than £400 million to rebuild it.